Hello and welcome to Urban Outlook. I'm April Eaton. Thank you so much for being with us today. When you look at the statistics, it appears that African American girls have a few things stacked against them. According to a 2013 study by the Girl Scout Research Institute, black girls are at risk for growing up in poverty, for achieving lower scores in math and reading, for suffering from obesity, and from being bullied and physically abused. Check out some of these facts from that Girl Scout study. 37.2% of black girls ages 5 to 17 live in poverty. 57% of African American girls live in single-family homes. 9% of girls admit to being harmed or bullied. That compared to about 6% of their white counterparts. And in 2011, 20% of African American girls were proficient in 4th grade reading. That's compared to 37% overall. 14% were proficient in 8th grade math. That's compared to 34% overall. All this, of course, demonstrates a need for solutions. And there's a group in town, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Kappa Lambda OMEGA Chapter, thinks that they have one way to get to these girls, to show them that there's some ways that they can achieve and succeed. And it's called the Little Miss AKA program and pageant. So we thought we would bring a guest here today to talk a little bit about that program. Karesse Small is the chair of the Little Miss AKA pageant. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, April. It's great to be here.
As we heard those numbers, you know, sometimes you might think that they're very shocking to hear some of the things that might be the downside of girls. But you all have a program that focuses on the positive. So talk a little bit about the Little Miss AKA pageant.
Okay, well, and with those statistics, we decided to do something different this year. It is a beauty pageant, but there's so much more that goes into that, and I know we've heard that before, so we wanted to take a different route. And with that, we decided to focus on our theme being Believe and Achieve. So with that, we created a series of workshops that would build on that theme. The first workshop being focused around that foundation. What are your goals? We wanted to find what goals were. And after that, we decided to create vision boards with the girls. So we have 44 contestants, and we also wanted to document this journey that they're taking. So with that, we created a scrapbook. So after every workshop, we dedicated time to create a scrapbook of different things about themselves, about their families, and those will be on display the night of the pageant.
These are girls who are ages, what, 7 to 12 years old, correct? So you're catching them at a really good time, I would think, just coming out of elementary school and also getting adjusted to middle school. What kinds of things are you seeing from them? I'm curious about this journey and where they've started and where you think you'll get them to in the end of that journey.
I think for this program, you have girls that come in from everywhere in the state of, in Nashville. And so they come in with not knowing people, so the greatest gift is to see them form a bond with some of these, with the other young women. But not only that, I am thrilled to see how smart they are when you ask them what their goals are. And not big goals, just goals at home, goals at school. They actually know what they want. And as they have
even at that age.
Yes, even at that age. And it's common sense things, even listening to my parents, but we move forward with talking about communication and etiquette, things like that, health and beauty. They know these things already. It's just that we're helping them to formulate them in a pattern that they can go home and at school and work with it every day.
I'm sure this was on purpose, but it sounds like some of the workshops that you do with the girls are on purpose because they're attacking some of these issues that they have. So to look at the number of obesity numbers for African American girls, you've got a program that focuses on their health and how to eat healthy. Talk a little bit about that.
Correct. So when they came in, we talked about first looking at yourself, believing in yourself that you can achieve what you set forth, as well as going into healthy foods. So we had a plate that how to build that perfect plate, your wheat, your protein, and then they got to taste some nutritious smoothies that day, and they loved it. Some of them were like, no, I don't like this, but at least they're honest. We know, and we can tell them, you know what, if you don't like this fruit, let's try different fruit.
How do the girls come to you? How do you find out about these young girls? Are you sort of actively recruiting, or are members of the sorority bringing them to you?
So first off, members of the sorority will sponsor a girl. So that's a wonderful thing, that our chapter is able to sponsor a girl that you bring in, and the parents are excited to have them through this process. And so the family is heavily involved, as well as the chapter sponsors of the girls.
Sounds like a great mentoring opportunity as well. As you work with these young girls, talk a little bit about the opportunity to mentor them and get them going, if they're not already in the right direction, down that right road.
This is a perfect opportunity when we have our workshops, when we have rehearsals. The chapter sponsors are able to come in and work directly with the girls. If we see certain behaviors going on, that's the perfect chance to pull them aside and say, hey, you know, let's try this. Let's be kind to one another, or just any opportunity that you have to come in. We have speakers that come in and also talk to the girls during the workshops, and that seems to go over real well because we're involving the community at the same time.
44 girls, that's a lot of little girls to have all in one place, all at one time. And you talk about, you know, if we see behaviors that are happening, we're able to kind of curtail that.
Right.
But working with little girls in general, what's it like? How do you make sure that you instill in them all the lessons that you want to instill? Because they come to you not really knowing each other, right? Unless they happen to attend the same school or the same church. But they come to you not really knowing each other. But it sounds like you're able to pull them together as one group in the end.
Yes, I think the biggest turning point of the pageant, we started something new this year. We had a lock-in. And I'm all about all things social. So we had a lock-in, and I did not go to bed till probably 3 in the morning. But that was the turning point. That's when I saw that they actually formed bonds and got together, and they were actually looking forward to coming to the next events. So I think if you take that time with them, and really not just in 2 hours, but that time that you're there with the adult time and working with the girls together, I think that that helps to come into something in its own with the girls.
Something well beyond the beauty pageant, it sounds like, for sure, for sure. But the beauty aspect, not just outside but in, is a part of it. So how do you make sure that they get the understanding that this is not about the Miss America pageant or the Miss USA pageant, but it really is about showing them the beauty inside of them?
I think the theme speaks that in itself. Believe and achieve, and this workshops that we have instilled in them really are showing them that do well in school, be kind to your neighbor, do community service. They had a chance to do that as well. They worked with Goodwill with Stuff the Truck. So all of those things that our sorority brings out to the community, we are showing the girls that.
The chapter has been doing this for how many years?
Since 1988. So this is our 14th annual.
Maybe give us a little history of how this all came about, and obviously it makes sense. A sorority would focus on the women, the young girls that are coming up. But how did this all come about?
This came about with scholarships, in the name of scholarships. So our sorority, or our chapter, has given over $150,000 in scholarships to college-bound African-American women. And we are very proud of that. So not only can these girls participate in this pageant, but when they are seniors in high school, they can also be eligible for a scholarship that we're able to offer through this pageant.
So you're raising these funds through this pageant in order to do good for other girls who are looking to go to college.
Correct. And the money that we raise sustains us for 2 years, to not even go beyond. It goes beyond the scholarship as well as out into the communities.
Talk a little bit, Karesse, about some of the success stories, because as you say, you saw this turning point in the lock-in for sure. But maybe without naming names, if the girls don't want to have their names named or parents don't want that to happen, kind of share maybe some real-life examples of the good that you're seeing in these young girls, or the struggles that they may be having in their own worlds.
This is a struggle and a positive story. There are 2 girls that came and did not know a soul, and their parents were very concerned that they're not having a good time, they're not meeting anybody, so the lock-in came. And we did African dance as a cultural event for the girls. And near the end of the night, both girls had found each other. and we're just dancing the whole night. And
Wow.
I think that's wonderful. That's what it's about for the girls, is to meet each other.
That can be tough for some of the younger ones, I'm
Yes.
imagining, 7-year-olds, to start building those relationships. Sometimes they happen naturally out on the playground, right?
Right.
But sometimes you really got to work at making sure you find that right friend.
Yes.
So what else have the girls been doing throughout this this ordeal? I understand that it's been a 6-month journey for them. So
Correct.
packed full of activities, packed full of opportunities for them to do good in the community. Talk a little bit about that.
In the community, they did Stuff the Truck, where they worked in conjunction with the Goodwill as well as our chapter, and they were able to bring homes donated from their home. Bring donated items from their home, and work in conjunction with the chapter. They've also participated in a father-daughter breakfast, but we put a spin on it because we worked with Applebee's, and with that, the fathers got to come in and have breakfast with their daughter, and then turn around. The daughter and the father duo, as I called them, dressed alike, and they were able to serve their families and the rest of the guests that were there, and they really enjoyed that.
Cute, cute. So making sure they get an understanding or an opportunity, not just to work with the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, but an opportunity to kind of see their parents in a different light as well.
That's correct. We have a mother-daughter luncheon too, so both parents are involved.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to give more information, particularly how people can find out more about the Little Miss AKA pageant and the program, since it's beyond the pageant. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.